Bakugo's Quirk is awakening and All for One is on the run. The truth about the second One for All user and his connection to Bakugo is finally being revealed, and both Deku and Bakugo are about to awaken the full potential of their quirks in the final battle in the entire series. The grand finale of MHA is finally here, so let's get into it. You guys know how this works. If you enjoy my MHA videos and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like and comment right now. It only takes you a second, but it helps me out a lot with that YouTube algorithm. And if you want to help this channel attain Quirk Singularity by hitting 2 million subscribers, do me a big favor and subscribe right now. We are so close. Finally, this video will of course contain MHA manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. The previous chapter confirmed that All Might's fate had been changed, and that even though he was supposed to die in this battle against young All for One, he managed to survive thanks to the collective efforts of his students and everyone throughout the world who was rooting for him. And so, Night Eye's dark prophecy about All Might's tragic death is no longer relevant at this point in the story. We also learned that Bakugo's quirk acted on its own in order to revive him. Edgeshot managed to physically repair Bakugo's organs, but they were not working and his heart was not beating. Then, a bead of sweat that Bakugo had produced before he died came through his bloodstream and exploded, which is what jump-started his heart and other organs. This means that Bakugo's quirk has evolved to a point that it could act on its own in order to help its user, which is a lot like how One for All acted on its own to protect Deku from Shinso's mind control. This raised the question, is Bakugo's quirk evolving and awakening, or is it maybe fusing with One for All, since Bakugo did temporarily get to use One for All back during the second MHA movie? The latest chapter starts off with some quick updates on what's happening on all the major battlefields as we prepare to witness the final battle on the final battlefield. As we know, Shoji and Koda were triumphant in the battle for the hospital. They are both okay, and now all the wounded are being taken care of. Well, I guess they weren't completely triumphant because Kurogiri was able to escape, but they did manage to subdue all the villains, including the gigantified Spinner. The Nomu on Okuto Island has been defeated, and Gang Orca's wounds are being cared for by Sirius. How was the Nomu defeated? By Gang Orca off screen somehow, we don't know. Aoyama and Toru are currently working hard to rescue everyone from Kunieda's deadly piranha plants now that he's been successfully defeated. And the Ketsubutsu gang have taken Skeptic into custody. The evacuation of civilians is being completed as we speak, and the villains in Jakku have all been neutralized. Some villains are still actively resisting, like one named Gashly, who is fighting against Ryukyu, Ojiro, and a bunch of other heroes. But overall, things are clearly wrapping up everywhere but the main battlefield. The villains are losing, the heroes are winning, and Shigaraki and All for One are pretty much the last significant players on the villain side who are still standing. Considering how this all started, and what a bad position the Hero Society was in at the beginning of the final arc, we have to give it to the heroes because they've really done well overall. That said, there are still some unresolved plot points, including what happened to Kurogiri, Aizawa, and Present Mike. They are all still missing, and their whereabouts are currently unknown. We also see a glimpse of Sniper Waifu, Lady Nagant, lying down on the roof with her rifle in hand. She is injured, but she is alive, and she remembers what Rocklock said. The entire plan depends on Izuku Midoriya, and they are all counting on him, Lady Nagant included. But is it really all about Deku? I think Bakugo would have a thing or two to say about that. Speaking of Bakugo, back on the main battlefield, everyone is shocked to see the extent of Bakugo's speed and the sheer power of his explosions, including All Might himself. Snake Shot explains that the incredible speed that Bakugo unlocked right before dying shocked everyone, including even Shigaraki and Bakugo himself. So Bakugo still has to adjust to this new power. He is learning new things about his quirk in real time, and he has to keep using his quirk in order to perfect his new powers. For his part, All for One is angry that Bakugo is challenging him. Bakugo's massive explosion blew All for One right into a building, and that means that the villain is sustaining even more damage. All for One wants to kill Bakugo because he can't let some random guy damage him further and speed up his rewinding. Meanwhile, Shigaraki is fine with Bakugo's new power-up because he believes that he can just break Bakugo again, and he intends to do exactly that. However, our boy Deku is a bit concerned. Although he has been effectively using his multiple quirks to fight Shigaraki, he still hasn't been able to overcome the fact that Shigaraki has his Awakened Decay quirk, combined with a superhuman body and super regeneration. Together, these powers are absolutely devastating, and Shigaraki has been using them to his advantage very effectively. Deku knows that he is only able to use Gear Shift one more time, and he also knows that after his final time, he will face a devastating blowback. He will pay dearly for ignoring the second user's advice and overusing Gear Shift. Nevertheless, Deku believes that the time to use his final Gear Shift is right now. He has to surpass his limits against Shigaraki and go plus ultra, just like Bakugo intends to do the same against All For One. But to Bakugo's disappointment, All For One has finally realized that he doesn't have any more time to waste. Instead of spending more time fighting Bakugo, he flies off as fast as he can towards Shigaraki. He needs to secure his new vessel right away, because he could be rewound out of existence at any moment. He will deal with Bakugo and his quirk later, and he is confident that he can kill Bakugo and overcome his quirk, but first things first, he has to reach Shigaraki right now. And yet, we all know Bakugo, and we know he's not about to back down now. He does not want to be a side character. In fact, Bakugo is beginning to realize why his quirk is evolving, and why he is now able to move so quickly and create more powerful explosions. The key to everything is pain. When he redirects the sweat that should be going into his palms throughout the rest of his body, Bakugo begins to feel an absolutely brutal amount of pain. But if he can determine where exactly on his body he is experiencing the most pain, he can use that pain to create much more powerful explosions. He can use the pain to make his quirk stronger. Bakugo uses his quirk to chase All For One through the air, and he is able to actually successfully keep up with All For One's speed. The villain is clearly shocked by this, and he is beginning to get worried about this crazy explosive maniac. Even though Bakugo is bouncing off the ground and feeling a ton of pain, he is laughing and loving every moment of this. Even he can't believe the extent of his speed. Bakugo thinks back to all the times he wondered if Deku had gotten too strong for him, and if he would ever be able to catch up to his rival again. But now with this new power-up, Bakugo believes that he will not only be able to catch up to Deku, but even surpass him. Okay, take it easy there, Bakugo. I know it's hard for our boy, Lord Explosion Murder, to accept this, but Deku is the protagonist of this story. He's the one with 7 different quirks, and he's the one that's gonna play the main role in defeating Shigaraki in the end. That's just how MHA works, so no, I don't think Bakugo will successfully surpass Deku, but I'm glad to see that Bakugo has gotten much stronger and that he can now make a real difference in the battle. Even Bakugo's parents are watching the fight unfold on one of the screens in the civilian evacuation center. Bakugo's dad doesn't even want to look at the screen because he doesn't want to see something bad happen to his son. But Bakugo's hot mom says that they have to watch Bakugo's battle. He must be smiling as always, smiling and fighting against all odds, and they have to be there for him and support him no matter how hard it might be for them. Back to All For One, he cannot understand why Bakugo makes him so mad. If anything, it seems like Bakugo makes him even angrier than All Might made him when he was trying to provoke him. And as the villain tries to figure out what about Bakugo makes him so mad, he realizes that it's because Bakugo looks so much like the second One For All user. All For One remembers the time when he had finally caught up to the second user all those years ago. And in that moment, the second user told him that if he's looking for his brother Yoichi, he is already gone. Yoichi is dead, and All For One was the one who killed him. This seems to upset All For One, as if he didn't realize that his brother was dead. It's interesting that the second user claims that All For One killed his brother, and yet All For One didn't seem to realize that his brother was dead. But I wonder if maybe Yoichi was killed indirectly as a result of All For One's actions. Say what you will about All For One, but he did care about his brother. He tried to improve his brother's quirk, he tried to keep his brother close to him rather than harming him, and he was hoping that eventually Yoichi would see where All For One was coming from. But of course, that never happened, because Yoichi was rescued from his captivity and he joined the resistance against All For One. All For One is furious, and he blames the second user, Kudo, for everything. If Kudo hadn't broken Yoichi out of All For One's captivity and made him a part of the resistance, none of this would have happened. Yoichi would still be alive, All For One would still have control over both his brother and his brother's quirk, and the resistance to All For One's tyranny would be much weaker than it ultimately became. So that is why All For One hates the second user Kudo, and why he yells out Kudo's name angrily. But instead of Kudo, our boy Bakugo responds. He says, "Are you senile? I am the one and only Kachan Bakugo," and that is how this chapter ends. Bro, I cannot believe that the great explosion murder god Dynamite would refer to himself as Kachan. Cringe. Okay, I'm kidding, but his hero name is definitely way more badass than frickin' Kachan. Okay, I'm sorry Deku, it's just the way it is. It was kinda crazy to see All For One actually getting worried about fighting Bakugo, and then choosing to flee from him rather than fight him head on. That's gotta tell you how powerful Bakugo is becoming, and how much of a threat he now poses to even the most powerful villains. Bakugo's quirk is clearly in the process of awakening, and I'm so curious to find out what his absolute full power will look like. Not only is he now faster and able to produce way stronger explosions, but his quirk seems to be able to act on its own in critical moments, and that could be absolutely huge in this final battle. Oh, and Deku is apparently about to use his final gear shift, and then he is going to experience a massive blowback. What do you guys think this will mean for the final fight? Like, will Deku be taken out of commission by the blowback, at least for a while, and then other heroes will need to fight Shigaraki until Deku recovers? Or do you think that Deku will just surpass his limits again? Maybe his quirk will evolve even further like Bakugo's, and the two of them will both attain their ultimate final power-ups at the same time. That would be pretty freaking amazing to see. I am still wondering whether there will be some sort of connection between Awakened Explosion and Awakened One for All, like if they are gonna build off of each other or maybe even share each other's powers in the final battle. What do you guys think? What will be the final evolution of Bakugo's quirk and Deku's quirk? Will All For One actually lose to Bakugo one-on-one? Is there any connection between Bakugo and the second user other than the fact that they just look similar? Will Deku be taken out of commission by the blowback, or will he just keep pushing through? Finally, what do you think will ultimately happen to Kurogiri Aizawa and Present Mike? Will they still play some role in the story, or is the story pretty much over for them? Definitely let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you're looking for another MHA video to watch right now, you can always check out my video about the last chapter, link on screen and in the description. If you enjoy my MHA content and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like right now. And if you want to help this channel attain Quirk Singularity by hitting 2 million subscribers, do me a big favor and subscribe right now. We are very close.